How's it going, guys? My name is Zach with the Movie Castle, and today we're going to be continuing my Sharks of Summer series. Sharks of Summer is a series I do around here where once a week during the summer I take a look at a shark movie, and this week we're going to be looking at Ozark Sharks from 2015. This is directed by Misty Talley, and if you guys have been keeping up with the channel, I've been going through and watching films from this Shark Bait 6-film collection, and the last one we watched, Mississippi River Sharks, was also directed by Misty Talley, so cool to see a returning director. This film stars Allisyn Snyder, Dave Davis, Thomas Francis Murphy, and Laura Cayouette. And this was also put out by the SyFy Channel. The SyFy Channel had huge success with the Sharknado series and would go on to greenlight a ton of cheesy B-grade shark movies, and that's pretty much what this one is. It's not as crazy and extreme and over the top as the Sharknado movies, but it is a solid little cheesy shark movie, and it does its job pretty well. All the characters have enough life and personality, they're pretty funny, and they bounce off each other fairly well. A lot of the gags with the shark are creative and fun, and another big pro that this movie has going for it is there's this character that builds his own custom weapons, and he'll like tape things together and come up with all this ridiculous stuff and then use that to go after the sharks. So yeah, that's pretty fun. It is a relatively simple movie, but it works well enough and it chugs along at a good pace. I do kind of think that if we had hammered things out a little bit more and given this a little bit more of a budget, we could have gotten a lot more out of it. Like I said, it's good, but it's not anywhere near Sharknado or anything like that. But for as low budget as they had and working within their means and scale, it came out pretty fun. And if you guys like cheesy, low-budget shark movies that have a good sense of humor behind them, this works out well enough. Not a grade A gold star classic or anything, but totally effective for what it is, and in general I had a pretty good time with it. But all that being said, what's the movie about? I'll be avoiding the end bits, so no major spoilers, but I do want to break down and analyze a few things. So from here on out, let's take a little bit of a deeper dive. We start off with this family. They're going on a vacation to the Ozarks for the 4th of July. And yeah, I kinda wish I knew this was a 4th of July movie going in. I would have covered it like a week or two ago. But there's going to be a big fireworks show on the lake and a nice little party there, and they've rented a cabin for the weekend, so overall, looks like a fun time. As far as characters go, you have the mom and dad there. They also brought grandma along, and you have a son and daughter, and the son is really good friends with the grandma. I love the back and forth these two characters have, and you also get bits where he's distracted by the bikini girls at the lake party. And then you also have the sister character, and she's going to be a little bit standoffish and a little bit antisocial. However, it turns out that she's actually dating her brother's best friend, and he's going to sneak his way into the Ozarks and crash their party, but hey, that will cheer her up a little bit. So with things getting a little bit hectic, Grandma does decide to take the kids downstream, and when they are separated, they realize that sharks are out there. They're picking people off in the lake. They actually began the movie with a set of prologue characters, and I do like how one of the prologue characters will actually make her way into the movie and stick around, and it wasn't just a random throwaway scene. They try to call the police and tell them, hey, there's sharks in the river, but the police are super useless in this movie and just think it's a prank, so it's apparently all on our heroes now to go down the river and save their parents, and while they seem to almost forget about it, yeah, there is also a fireworks show farther down the river, and they should probably try to save as many people as they can down there as well. And while the plot's not the biggest thing happening in the world. I like that it's clean and focused. Last week on the channel when I was talking about Mississippi River Sharks, I talked about how that movie was kind of aimless and didn't really seem to know why the next scene would bother happening. And I even said in my review for that if they had just done it like Piranha, where they used the river as a sort of plot structure and had the characters racing down that would be simple and that would work. And it turns out that's exactly what they did here. The kids are at one point in the river, the parents are farther down, and at the very end's the fireworks show. Not the biggest, most complicated thing ever, but it keeps the movie on track. Literally having a river, keeping it on track. But without a doubt, the funnest part of this movie is they eventually do find some help with the guy that works at the bait shop that rented the cabin out to them. He's the guy that's prepared for anything nature will throw his way and has spent his time gearing up his truck and building a shed full of weapons. We get harpoons and air cannons and swords. We get a pitchfork with 3 machetes tied to it, making a handcrafted trident. I really love the over-the-top energy this character will bring, both in his weapons, but also in just the way the character's kind of gruff and no-nonsense. He reminds me a little bit of that guy from Tremors, the Doomsday Prepper guy. So any resemblance to him is always a pro for your movie. So yeah, in general it does work, but that being said, we do have a few flaws in here. For example, if you don't like the waist-high water trope, there's a fair bit of that, especially in the prologue sequence, and I think the sharks in the prologue sequence were picking people off very quietly. That was a little weird. And we would also get a few characters in this movie that were bigger characters, in particular one of the first few that goes, and I felt that there were a few big character deaths that were a little bit underwhelming. And there was also this stupid decision by one of the characters, hey, we need to go down river faster, let's take that canoe. Yeah, I don't know about going back in the water when there are blatantly sharks in the river, but you know what? Horror movies do have a few stupid decisions along the way. So overall, yeah, this is a smaller, lower budget, made-for-TV movie. So yeah, it's not the biggest, best, cheesiest shark movie ever, but for what it had, it worked really, really well. It's one that you can have a fun time with and watch the people with their creative weapons kill the army of sharks in the river. So overall it works, and I think it's a really solid recommendation to the crowd that wants to see a good cheesy shark movie. Fun enough, and I'll definitely take it. And I have to say, we're 4 movies into this shark bait collection, and they all seem to have worked pretty well. So yeah, overall this thing is working out pretty good. I got 3 more left, and we'll have to see in the future how those pan out, but really liking this so far. All that being said though, to everyone who's watched so far, thank you for watching. To everyone who's liked and subscribed, thank you. You really are helping the channel out. I'll leave a relevant playlist on the bottom. This should be my Sharks of Summer 2025 playlist. If you guys want to see me talk about more shark movies, including some more from this pack, you can click right here and see more. Anyway, have a good day. I'll see you guys again very, very soon. Playlist here. Have a good day now.